Welcome everyone to today's webinar, Social Marketing and You. This webinar is made possible through funding from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Administration. So this webinar will be 1 hour. At any time, if you have questions, feel free to use the chat feature or raise your hand feature at the left corner of your screen, and Martin Rafferty, our presenter for today, will address it as soon as he can. Please note that we are recording this webinar, so if you feel uncomfortable with that at any time, please log off. And without further ado, Martin, I'm going to pass it on to you.
Thank you so much, and it's a cool 87 degrees here in Eugene, Oregon, where this broadcast is taking place. Few participants here live with us, but we do expect this video to be mostly viewed by recording. Just a note that if you are watching this video at a later date, it's not live, so you can't ask questions. But if you're here right now, you can ask questions throughout the presentation. And thanks again to SAMHSA for funding, making this presentation possible. So my name is Martin Rafferty. I'm the Executive Director for Youth Move Oregon. We are the first nonprofit 501c3 that was independent as a chapter of Youth Move Oregon. And we've been around since 2009. Today's presentation is going to cover a good spectrum. I think even folks who are experts or who are people who are really passionate about social media and kind of read and learn everything they can might learn a few things. We've definitely learned through trial and error, and we have a respectable social marketing following. Just about over 15,000 likes on our Facebook page. We often get more than 100,000 views on our social media content every month. And of course, we are just a state chapter, so our market isn't necessarily a national market. So very respectable, if I can say that, as far as being a state chapter. We have understood that for us, social media is about creating content. If that content is to invite people to an event or a video that explains one of our services, if you are getting into social media, getting your organization into social media for fundraising to appear relevant or to do direct services, you're always going to be a content creator. And even if that means repurposing content that other people have made with permission to something usable. So saying that, and to give kind of a reason why you should listen to our opinions and ideals, I want to share with you some content. This next video is just 2 minutes long, and it is a video for our Empowerment Recovery Academy, which is one of our primary services at Youth Move Oregon. This video, and whenever you're creating content, you have to ask, who are you creating this content for? Is it for stakeholders? Is it for grant funders? Is it for parents? Is it for the youth that you serve? If you don't serve youth, is it for other folks that you serve? Who is the content for? And I'm going to tell you that this content is actually for young people. About 86% of all of the content that you're about to see is original, meaning that we filmed or created the art that you're about to see. And it took about 3 weeks to make this video. So let's watch, and we'll do a little follow-up after. And for those who are saying, what does this video have to do with social media? I'll be sure to answer that as well.
How will ERA change you? Once you're enrolled, you will choose one of 5 specialized paths toward becoming a powerful leader. Advocate for the oppressed. Stand up for the system oppressed. Architect next. Master the art of media activism. Vocal theory. Become a powerful public speaker. Leadership 1. Take the lead, collaborate, and motivate others. In Service. Learn to use peer support to change lives.
Okay, so that video had a huge impact on our program. It really gave us. It was our first video that we got over 300,000 views on our Facebook page. And you're going to find, I'm going to be mentioning Facebook a lot, but the reality is that whatever site that you're using, whatever social media site that you're using, has its own community, has its own rules. For instance, uploading a video onto Facebook, if you upload it versus posting a YouTube link, Facebook will actually deliver your video to more people as a reward for using their kind of ecosystem versus linking from outside of Facebook and using YouTube. So again, each social media platform has its own rules, and that era video, I wouldn't say it went viral, but it certainly was one of our heavy hitters for a long time. So getting into some of the themes we're going to cover in our presentation today is talking about how we can get your audience involved and engaged. And some of that is actually asking, who is your audience? Who are you trying to engage? And why are you trying to engage them? Much like you can't go to the store and pick out, if you're building a PC, custom PC parts, unless you know what you're going to be using your computer for. Are you video editing? Are you going to be using it to play solitaire? Or are you trying to play high-end video games on it? It's the same thing with social media. Are you trying to solicit donations? Are you trying to create a branding that is significant? Are you trying to be able to render your services through social media, like a lot of national nonprofits are starting to do? And then we're going to cover some of the do's and don'ts associated with social media. And I'm going to, for the people who are interested in getting into some of the facts right away, we're going to go ahead and skip over to slide 7. Actually, we're going to skip a little bit ahead. Slide 14. So I want to talk initially about the first temptation of anyone who is starting to build a brand in social media. And this might be the most important thing that you can take away from this presentation. There are platforms, there are social media sites that if you pay for likes, and let me explain this for a moment. What you're seeing on your screen right now is from a real website. This is a real service that websites sell, and basically you pay them, the first option is $27, and within 10 days, they will generate 250 subscribers to your account, and so on and so on. You can see that if you want 10,000 likes, you only have to pay $120 in 10 days. So the problem with doing this on Facebook and doing it on Twitter, the main accounts to do this on, and I'm not going to talk about the ethics of it because people really do get tempted and confused about what this means. So if you, we have over 15,000 likes on our Facebook page, but you heard me talk about hundreds of thousands of views, and just a lot of different folks commenting and sharing. If you go to our Facebook page, if you look us up on Facebook, Youth Move Oregon, you'll see our page, and you'll see a lot of different participation going on. The reality is that with Facebook, when you buy these likes, you are actually decreasing your reach. And the reason is because whenever you make a post on Facebook, even as an individual, so you're not related to work, you're on Facebook, you make a post that you just ate at some restaurant, only about 11% of your friends will be able to see that post originally. Now, if you get a like on that post, if you get a comment, if someone shares it, that percentage does increase. But initially, it's only about 11% of your friends will actually see that content. That's also true on your business pages and your nonprofit pages as well. There's only a small percentage of the people who like your page that will actually see it initially. So when you buy these fake likes, these accounts don't have real people on them. Bots and programs made these accounts. And although it will make your account look like you have a lot of likes, you will actually not get your content out to anyone. And so that's why it's really easy to go and look at a Facebook page that has purchased these fake likes and see who they are, because they don't have a lot of likes, shares, and comments. So when it comes to Facebook and Twitter, and if we were talking 10 months ago, I wouldn't say that about Twitter, but Twitter is updating their algorithms to do this as well. If you want your content to go further, you cannot buy fake likes. It will just destroy whatever you're trying to do on your account. It will just nullify it. So we're going to go back now, and I want to talk about our Silent Watch campaign as another example of how you can use content to get your messaging across. In Oregon, in 2011, 2012, we started to have a large amount of youth suicides that happened. And some of these suicides were linked to young people getting onto their Facebook pages and Twitter and actually saying that they were planning on completing suicide. And some of those youth were encouraged to do so by their peers. Just a lot of kind of harsh and really sad stuff on there. To speak to the point earlier about only 11% of your friends see this content, it's a fact that majority of the public don't understand this. So when youth are reaching out on their Facebook page, and let's say they have a teacher on their page, they might assume that teacher is going to see that post that they're making asking for help. But in a lot of cases, that's just not true. Even if the teacher is a friend, they might not see that content. But we decided that we wanted to launch a campaign that could reach a lot of Oregonian youth and kind of give some hopeful messaging that we could mirror in the real world. So although this is an online campaign, we would send folks to little communities that have just suffered any kind of crisis event, and there would actually be silent watch marchers that would go around the state. But this is the online portion of the campaign, and I'm sure you've read it by now. But they're hopeful messages that are put to a stylistic, youth symbolic hoodie. And you can see our branding as well. And that's important for, stakeholders. It's not so important for the youth who are really trying to consume content. And in this next slide, you can kind of see some of our interactions. So this is one of our earlier Silent Watch posts from this year. And we got 113 shares. That's a significant number. That means 113 people took this post and posted it on their own wall for their friends and family to see. And 378 likes. I'm always more concerned with the shares than the likes. When someone shares something, it really makes it more significant. It increases the reach, but you can kind of see some of the support for that. And then in our next slide, and you can see how this correlates a little bit more to mental health, a little bit more to suicide prevention. Of course, Youth Move Oregon kind of focuses on reducing suicide and increasing the access to mental health. And so this message really speaks to that. And we'll look at the results of this poster. So we got just, the likes are increasing, 474, 186 shares. We have some faith-based people saying amen, all the way to young people who are trying to encourage their friends as well. And then this is our most popular and most recent post. You are the face of the faceless, the voice of the ones who are forced silent. Be bold. And you'll see that this post is a little bit more significant in likes, 3,275. And even though that's impressive, I still look at those shares and I find those as more important. Again, 753 people took that post, they put it on their wall and shared it with folks. And if you do go to our Facebook page, you can see that pretty close. It was just posted on June 29th. And you can click on the shares and go and look at what people are saying when they post this to their wall. Really incredible. And now in these comments, you'll see that we're interacting with a mom who kind of made a public post about seeking out services for her daughter. With Facebook, there are a huge amount of options as far as settings. So if you are a mental health clinic or you're giving out mental health services and you have HIPAA concerns, I just want you to know that there are models out there. There are instructions online. You can type into Google, Facebook, HIPAA compliant. And of course, there are state laws, and that's why I'm not going to go into the specifics here. Every state could have different privacy laws in place. Or every contractor that you're working with. So we have different contractors that require us to be at certain privacy levels. But within Facebook, there are so many options. For instance, if one of these folks made a post that seemed like it was a violation of their privacy, or if they're giving away someone else's privacy, we could easily mute that post from being seen by anyone else. Although if that viewer comes back, they will still see their post, so they won't opt to be upset. But this is a huge way that we interact with families and youth, is through our social media, and mostly through the private messaging function. But sometimes folks will make a plea out in the open like this for support. So our Silent Watch campaign, and I'm going to go back to this post. I want you to really look at this and ask yourself, are you a content designer? And do you have the funding to generate content? And the answer is yes. If those 3,275 likes, 753 shares, a lot of people would be happy with that number. But this content is made very simply. The tools that you need to create content like this exist stock on your Windows computer. Literally, you can use Paint. There are apps online that you can use. Really, it's not so difficult to find royalty-free images and put your powerful message behind these tool sets. Everyone knows someone who's good with computers, and if you are working with youth, a graphic artist. If you work with youth, you know a graphic artist. We have drop-in centers, 3 drop-in centers across the state and multiple sites. We have just tons of youth who are interested in graphic design, and they frequently help us out, even with some of the more technical stuff. So content design is imperative to be successful. We are competitive with, if you go and look at this post and put it against the same posts that were made on Boys and Girls Club of America, you'll see that we just dominate their numbers in every kind of metrics you can think of. On that day when this was posted, we dominated their posts, and we don't have their budget, we don't have their reach. They're in almost every community in the country, but we dominated. And how? It's because we focused on the content. It doesn't take a bunch of money to be successful on social media, and that's kind of the appeal of it, and what makes it so attractive to nonprofits, is because it equalizes when it comes to traditional marketing. So I want to go back, and we're going to go back to slide 5 and show one more video. And this video was a video that we worked with when the city of Eugene, where our main offices are located in Oregon, saw all of the support we were getting on social media. They wanted us to tackle the issue of homeless youth in Eugene. And so we worked with them on creating this. And we're going to talk a little bit about just what happened after we released this video, and how it kind of changed social media for us forever.
I'll go around town and stuff, and still every day almost, like, things, I'll pass by houses or places where on the side of the street where, oh, that night we stayed in our car 2 nights in a row in that spot, and oh, that was where we stayed and the cop came and knocked on the window and told us we need to leave. And I never really told my friends about these stories because they just wouldn't understand. They wouldn't get it. Dude, like, I used to make crack pipes for my mom when I was like 9 years old in the garage. I've seen so many people growing up do things or try things kind of because they don't really totally know. I was a good kid until my parents got a divorce, and I mean, I don't want to blame them for everything, but I mean, I never got any help at home. I never got the extra stuff that I needed.
Well, when I was 11 years old, my mom got a pill addiction, and I felt like if I wasn't there, she was gonna die, and I felt like if I wasn't there for my sisters, they were gonna starve or get hurt. When her and my dad went to jail, we just got left in the house we were at. I'm homeless, but not hopeless. I know that I have great potential. I've seen so many youth, people on the streets with no food, no clothes. Nobody seems to want to help. People are very judgmental sometimes, and it's very hard to, get food money or to get somewhere to stay or money for clothes because people think you're going to spend it on drugs or alcohol.
I think to a lot of people it's not just, oh, let's get these people off the street, but it's more like, oh, do we have to, pay for them to go through alcohol and drug treatment. I think to them it's a bigger problem. Like there's a bunch of little problems all in one.
I'm going to be the future of the world, and I think it'd be better for me to be something that, progresses in the world than somebody that's sitting on the corner of the street doing nothing but giving bad influences to the kids.
I wonder how much sooner I would have came out of that kind of lifestyle if somebody would have intervened. Every 2 weeks I'm going to think like, how many are still stuck? I don't think they realize how far youth can come just by literally being drug off the street and just loved a little bit.
If we give all these kids on the streets opportunities, I think they could, really change their lives and help change the future, change what your kids are going to grow up in.
But just kind of give them a little, and then they can do it on their own maybe, just to have a little hope in them, I guess. I guess that's what everyone's lacking, is just hope.
The 15th Night Initiative is a call to action.
We need your help to create and implement a strategy to intervene before more of our young adults reach their 15th night.
That's what the citizens of Eugene do.
We work together to solve problems.
We stand up for the ignored.
We defend the defenseless.
We answer the call.
We answer the call.
We answer the call.
We answer the call.
All right, so that video again, out of the blue, our city manager wanted to work with us on creating that, and after we created that video and posted it, we were told to post it onto YouTube and on Facebook. The reaction of the community was so loud that the city manager's office, they were still in the planning phases, and so they had to ask us to take it down because the motivation of folks were kind of above the planning process, and so that was the one time when it was too successful, and we had to take it down immediately. And the quality of that video is something that you can use with a GoPro. Even some cell phones have the same kind of quality that you've seen there. That can capture that kind of quality. And so when thinking about, are we able to do video production? Well, the answer is maybe you can. And depending on what you're using social media for, it might be the most relevant way to do that versus making graphics. So I wanted to just spend a few moments on thinking about your outcome. And we've talked about this a few times, but what is the outcome that you're wanting for your organization in social media? Are you looking for the prestige, the relevance of your page or your content getting thousands of views, or just putting your message out in the public in a very, very effective way? Are you looking for the ability for your users to ask questions, for families to get in touch, for folks to know when you're open or closed? Or are you just trying to share content, trying to get the word out, being very tactical? The Case Foundation did a study and found that nearly half of the nonprofits that they polled, 47%, were looking for engagement in the form of getting donations. Again, Youth Move doesn't really focus on using our content in that way. We do, we have gotten funders who, we applied for grants or RFPs who are very interested in the kind of involvement our young people had when it came to looking at our social media. But that's not to say that there aren't a lot of tools out there directly built into Facebook where you can solicit donations online. But it's kind of a trap to set that as your initial goal. Again, if you're creating content that people want to consume, that should be the first focus. And then whatever your goal is, if it's for views, if it's for people getting in touch for sharing content or getting donations, if you create excellent media, if you create excellent content, people will respond. So a little bit more of a practical tip for folks who might be more involved in social media already and wondering how they can get, better return when they do make that content. If there's one thing to take away from this video, it's don't buy fake likes. If there are two things to take away from this, it's pay attention to when your fans are online. So don't take a screenshot of this. Don't think that this is relevant for you. This is relevant for us. So if you go and look at our Facebook page, and we're going to have details and links at the end of this presentation that you can follow to do that. But if you go and look at our posts, you can see what time they were posted. Kind of put us to the test and see if we're following the stuff that we're telling you. We absolutely are, because we found that most of our fans in Oregon are online and consume our content, like our content, at around 9 to 10:30. And so within that spectrum, for our young adults, 9 to 10:30 is when we post our young adult centered content. For stakeholders, family members, somewhere between 6 and 8 is when they're more likely to engage with our content. And then on days, Thursday for us is the best day to post. Saturdays for most organizations are actually a poor day to post, but what we do very well. But honestly, Thursday night at 10 o'clock for us is the best. Whenever we want to make the best post that or get the most views, that's when we post it. So there are a few ways that you can test when your people are online. If you have a Facebook account that is purely for work, you can actually look at the chat box and see when the most of your connections are online. Even though my Facebook page is a personal account, I have maybe 150, 200 folks who are involved with me across the state of Oregon in the work that I do. So when we're about to make a post, and we were doing this in the early days, now we know because we've tested it, but I would look at how many of those people were online. Were stakeholders online? Were some of the young people online? And so we would post that. And then if nothing else, make posts in the beginning at different parts of the day. You can reuse content as well. We don't often reuse content, but back when we were testing, we did post the same post 3 or 4 times throughout the week and saw at which time got the most views and likes. So there's a lot of testing involved, but it's really important to find what is that sweet spot for your organization. When are people watching? When are people interacting? And it's going to be different for everyone. And if you're a national organization, it's going to even be a little bit more difficult. You might have 2 times on Thursday for the East Coast and the West Coast. You might be posting the 2 different posts at 2 different times, and maybe the posts aren't identical, but maybe they're very similar. So we're going to move. And I just wanted to let people know that we are going to open it up for questions in just a few minutes. So if you have questions, you can start preparing those. So moving back to slide 4, I want to really specifically address how we operate and how our social media operates with HIPAA concerns. So First off, our organization is very clear that we're not a mental health service. We are a peer service, and we interact with people who are in the mental health system, people who aren't in the mental health system, people who are in a lot of different systems. And so we will never, the strict rules for us is that we never tag anyone in any of our posts, and that includes our own employees. We won't tag our employees. We don't like to mention the names of our staff or of any of our participants in any of the content that we create. Now, when youth and staff come and interact with the content themselves, they are under their own accounts, and they have their own, they've signed Facebook's end user agreement. The content that they're posting on our wall doesn't belong to us, it belongs to Facebook. And so that's covered under their relationship with Facebook and not between our organization and the users. So you can get really technical when it comes to this. A lot of the concerns about, bureaucracies are very slow moving to come into the field of social media. But we schedule, when someone has a concern, when one of our contractors have a concerns, we set a meeting up and we sit down and we go through the concerns one by one. Really, we have to be clear with the folks that the contractors that we're working with that social media is the way that we interact with youth. And even though it's slow for bureaucracies to catch up and do this work, it's not an option. It's not something that we can choose or not choose. In the very early days, we were, really folks try to persuade us to build an app or maybe to make a really awesome website and then just kind of cut Facebook and social media out of it. And the reality is that our population, our young adults don't like downloading apps from mom and pop shops like Youth Move Oregon. We don't have a lab of app designers. We can't get the kind of quality that they come to expect from things like Facebook. So it's always better to build on an ecosystem where your people already are. Our young people are already on Facebook. So we build our main focus there. And that might change. Next year, it could be a completely different platform. But it hasn't really. The reality is that transition is possible, but it hasn't happened for us yet. So choosing which social media for your organization is really important. And Facebook is king among our population. Twitter might be king for yours. There's, you can really type into Google, asking what age population uses Twitter, what age population uses Facebook, and it changes every 3 months, but that data is available. So we're going to go and take some specific questions. I wanted to leave a lot of time for that because I know that folks might have questions, and I also want to send it back to PureLink to see if there's something that they want us to cover that maybe we haven't. Okay, and we do have a small audience here today, but if you are watching this recording at a later time, we are more than happy to help folks when they come, have questions about this, especially when it comes to how to get around the really specific burdens of dealing with bureaucratic concerns. So you can. Tia's email is up there right now. She's our kind of social media lead here at Youth Move, and if you have questions, you can email or call that number. Also check out our Facebook page. Again, you can kind of go back to the very beginning of where we were and see, what was successful and what wasn't. If you are inclined to visit our website, I really recommend that you do so on a web browser, on a computer. It's more optimized for that, but there are some cool design features that you can see there. And so thank you so much. We really hope that that this starts a conversation about using social media more in the nonprofit field and specifically in the alternatives field. It's been really useful, and it can reach folks. And ultimately, it's shown at Youth Move that we've been able to save lives because of these tools. So thank you so much. We're going to end a little early, and if you have questions, you can contact us at those details.
Thank you, Martin, for your presentation. For everyone that's listening, this webinar will be available for viewing on the PeerLink website very soon. Martin, I actually do have a question for you. When it comes to your videos, I know you said you did a lot of it in-house, but do you suggest, if you don't have that kind of talent in-house, maybe contracting someone out, or I know you have a lot of access to youth, but what resources would you suggest if you wanted to do some of your fascinating videos?
Yeah, absolutely. And let me, I will talk about using outside services, but just briefly, we're working with a organization in Kentucky called Tailored, and they are opening up drop-in centers there. We're helping them out with their initial stuff, and they're a really great organization. They have a smaller budget for design and video work than we do. I don't even know if they have much of a budget for that. But just to kind of highlight that it's a lot easier than it would seem. One of their young adults who came and saw some of our videos here, he went home, and in about 2 or 3 months, when they came back for a conference that was happening here, and showed us a video that they made. And they borrowed some of our concepts, but the video, they used a GoPro. The quality was excellent. The audio was excellent. They put a lot of work into it, but it was a great result. And just an example that, you might think that you don't have anyone that can help you with this kind of stuff. Ask around. Ask if people have any interest or background in it, and if not, there are local options, of course, to help with video design. The cost for video back about 10 years ago was somewhere around $1,200 a minute, but with the addition of so many new technologies, you can find a lot cheaper options out there. Youth Move Oregon, we do have a department that can help people with their media design, videos, other kind of content like, Facebook pictures or logos as well. But there are a lot of options out there, and it's cheaper than you think. I've seen folks offering, a 3-minute nonprofit video for somewhere around $450. So local options might work really well. And if not, you can always come back and ask us. We have prices and such on our website.
Perfect. Thanks, Martin. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap everything up. Thank you all for attending this webinar. And if you wouldn't mind, please take a moment to complete our brief survey at the end. Thanks, Martin.
Thank you. I mean, quality, is on par with the best, The quality is on par with the best, so. But look, the only reason to do that, $300,000. You can hire 5 of these. The Open Minds, Open Doors, RFP and Clackamas.
That's the one, that lady,
Okay.
the lady from, we could have just also done.
Anyway, folks can just email everyone instead of it. So I think we might be able to rebrand it too. Yeah. Okay.
Why are you going to text him? Why are you going to text him?
Do you pass your cards for a moment?